Are we ready? Okay, I have a question or two for you this evening. My name is Bob Coburn, and I'm running for mayor. I'm running for re-election. I've been the mayor for the last 4 years in Muskogee, and we've seen some pretty exciting times. I want an opportunity to do that for 2 more years. And if you will send me back to do that, I will be happy because it pays so well. The benefits are so great. If you're here because you want to see Muskogee continue to progress, would you just raise your hand? The neat thing about that is we have a city where hometown spirit is strong. We had an opportunity this summer to go on a trip on Highway 3 to a bunch of small towns. And when I got back, one of the things that I discovered was hometown spirit is important because it is the vital backbone of our community and community involvement. And I think it's fantastic that we have a group here the size we do, because typically
we can't hear you back here because of the chairs.
What would you like for me to do?
Talk about distractions. It's rude. It's rude. Very much so.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
Yes.
Yes, I get an extra time too.
I got it on call.
Nobody gets hung.
Yeah.
You got 2 minutes.
Pretty fast.
And you're unleashed.
We're going to go under again. Is that better?
Yes.
Hometown spirit is alive and well in Muskogee as it is across the state of Oklahoma. Let me introduce to you very quickly my wife Gwen and some very special friends of ours, Russ and Sue Brandon. They were part of that trip across Oklahoma, and we had some of the best dessert you can imagine. The desserts that we had here in Muskogee. I want to cover, maybe not in the correct order, but I want to cover some things with you that I think they're important to me. Explain why you deserve to be the opportunity to be elected to another term. I'm competent, I'm committed, and I'm extremely cooperative. And I'm a type A personality, so when I say I'm extremely cooperative, I'm a type A, so I'm aggressive. And that doesn't always come across as very cooperative. But I believe in getting people to the table to sit down and discuss the problems that a city or a community has. And that's the only way that I've seen it work. It worked extremely well. Should we have term limits for these offices? The mayor's office is a 2-year office. City council is a 4-year office presently. My suggestion is, and my recommendation would be, that we move everything to 4-year terms and not have 2 and 4-year terms, and then we could limit it at 3 successions each, or a total of 12 years. The thing you have to remember is these don't pay as well as the state positions, and the state positions and the mayor and city council doesn't pay near as well as federal positions. So it's not like we have an abundance of candidates always filing for office. And I don't know that a lot of limitations are good, but I think that some term limits would not be out of the question. I want to now discuss with you some things I'm getting ready to present. In late January or early February, we're going to look at a proposal that I'm going to make to City Council. And that proposal is a way that we can change our employee compensation to a competitively regional number. We don't pay as well as we could or should. No, let me say that different. We don't pay as well as we should. We're paying as well as we can at the moment. And I've got a plan to get there on how to change that. But I want to make that presentation to the council sometime in the next few weeks on how we could possibly get there to make this happen. It'll be a multi-year plan. It isn't something we could make the change and come up with $2.3 million to make that change to 450 employees compensation all at one time. It's going to take a lot of work, it's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of cooperation among departments in the city, a lot of discovery as to how we figure out exactly how to do that. But I've got a good plan in place at this point that I'll be presenting in the next several weeks to the city council. Sales tax growth team. Sales tax, we live and die on sales tax. The city budget is about a $70 million budget, give or take. 24 million of that budget is sales tax. Sales tax is crucial to us in Oklahoma. All of our cities struggle with sales tax income. We have been flat in terms of sales tax income for the last several years. And so I have this thought, this idea that has come forward. We've tried to come up with a definition for the last several years and on how we're going to solve this problem. We haven't got it put together yet. So I have a plan on present on a sales tax growth team, and I'll be doing that sometime in January or in February. Economic development and job creation. Those things are important to our community. Economic development drives our community. I had a conversation today, in fact, and said, how many opportunities are there for job creation, for new industry to come into a town? How many, would you believe me if I told you there's 15,000 economic development entities reaching out for 300 to 400 possible locations that are secured each year? It's incredibly competitive. And we're out in that market every day through the contract that the city has with the port to accomplish that. 3 times in the last year, we've been on a short list for an opportunity that is combined would be almost $1 billion in capital investment. We haven't made it there yet, okay? But out of the 160 cities in the United States being considered, Muskogee, Oklahoma was one of them. We made it down to the short list of 3, one of 3 cities being considered. Now that's pretty incredible if you think about the city of Fort Thank you for those efforts through economic development contract with the port for Eric Miller, Scott Robinson, and the team that does that. Hatbox Master Plan. I need a little help. Would you help me with that board?
1 minute, Mayor.
Okay. We have a Hatbox Master Plan that's, whoops, let's flip it over. There we go. We have a Hatbox Master Plan that's been adopted by the City of Muskogee City Council. That master plan includes an expo center, a multi-purpose expo center. Okay? We hope to make a recommendation, the task force is working on this by the end of the month, back to City Council on whether we take phase 1 or phase 2, or at separate times or together, and then a method of financing those, and we'll propose 2 methods of financing those. A multi-purpose expo center will be a game changer from the standpoint of economic development in our community. It drives restaurants, it drives retail sales, and it puts people in hotel beds overnight, which pushes our hotel and motel tax. Am I out of time?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm Bob Copeland, and I would appreciate being re-elected February the 9th. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Wayne Divalvis. I was, kind of a quick background, I was born and raised in Muskogee, Oklahoma. I want to touch on 1, 2, and 6, since we only have 7 minutes. Number 1, talking about downtown revitalization. I know we've talked about downtown revitalization probably, I'm 44 years old, it seems like we've been talking about it for at least that long. I know there's a couple issues about, I think, downtown. There's not that much parking. Parking is an issue I think we have, and to me, I see there's really no real room for new development downtown. I think we need to go to our mall that I think we all know it's dying. We need to shore that up and then work our way back over to Broad Street, or Broadway, I mean. Sorry. Number two, what qualifies me to be in the mayor's seat? I want to put Muskogee in touch with the next generation. I've worked 18 years in the industrial market. Muskogee needs real jobs, not retail jobs. Muskogee needs blue-collar and white-collar jobs. Muskogee needs jobs that will allow my two boys, which are 9 and 12, to continue to live here and maybe want to raise their children here. I've worked for ORS NASCO, which some of you guys might know in town. Worked for them for about 9 years, and I've worked for Makita Power Tools for about 9 years. Worked for companies in conjunction with Walmart, Atwoods, Halliburton, to name a few. Have a large network of industrial companies I can call upon with the help of maybe the Muskogee Chamber of Commerce. Maybe I can help my network bring in some new jobs to this town. Talk a little bit about number 6, reducing the crime rate and what I would do to show support for our law enforcement. My current company I work for is called 511 Tactical. We build purpose-built gear for military, law enforcement, police, fire, and EMS. We're the leader in apparel and gear for those particular departments. I've also have rode with our local police department for over 10 years, and I could probably, I don't know, but I would guess that there's probably no one on this panel that has rode with our police department that long. So I'm very aware of what they go through. The main thing that I would do to help reduce the crime rate, I would bring our police staff up to full force. Again, my name is Wayne Divalvis, and I would appreciate your vote.
Yeah, my name is Pete Caraway. That's a nickname. My real name is William Curtis Caraway, Jr. I was born in Lymes, Georgia, which is right below Vidalia, but grew up in Macon, Georgia, which was a town of approximately 100,000 folks. I went to a high school that was ROTC. We wore military uniforms, the old Eisenhower uniform, 3 days a week. And the other 2 days of the week, we wore whatever we wanted to. It was an all-male high school. It was a public school, and the girls had a separate school. During our military time, one thing that comes to mind is, this would have been before '62, we were learning how to be soldiers, but at the same time, we were learning how to train and follow orders and show other people how to do the same. One thing I think that'll always stick with me, in high school we saw a film that showed the people being killed in Cuba in the baseball park. And if I recall correctly, they were lined up along the third baseline, and you actually saw them fall to the ground. So that's why we're not in Cuba. From there, I had the fortune to go with a friend to North Georgia College, which is in Dahlonega. That's above Gainesville. It's in North Georgia. It was founded in 1873 and has had a military ROTC program from the very beginning. There again, most of the people in the military component of the school was about over 1,000 boys at that time, with approximately 800 girls. And the requirement for the girls to get in that school academically was a lot higher than the guys. So if you wanted to compete academically, you had to learn to compete and also do the military things that you're probably not aware of. You clean the latrines, you keep your shoes fit shine, etc., etc., etc. But the most important thing is you go up through the ranks, starting out as privates and proceed by your 4th year being officers and cadre that train other people. You have a chance to play roles, role model, and you figure out exactly how you want to lead people and forget about trying to copy somebody else's style. So you learn how to be your own person. But you also learn to be disciplined, because if you spend all your time on the military activities, you're going to flunk out. And a lot of the kids did. They couldn't distinguish why they were there. I accepted commission as a regular Army officer when I graduated in 1966, and proceeded from there to the 82nd Airborne, and then into jump school. From there, I went to Vietnam. From Vietnam, I went into the hospital system. In Nam, I was with the 173rd. From there, I went to Fort Hood as adjutant of a hospital, and I've never been in an Army hospital in my life. Survival time again. But anyhow, I made it, and I stayed 10.5 years before I decided to make a career change, and decided that I wanted to be a supply officer within the Medical Administration Medical Center complex. And I was fortunate enough to get into their training program, and eventually wound up being the supply officer at our local VAMC, having to deal with people like Ross over here. You always walk in my office and try to get something out of it. He had one of our air conditioning projects out there, and we had some problems, but he found where the leak was and everything came out all right. It took a while, but nobody could figure it out, but Ross did. The reason I want to run for mayor, and I didn't have any prepared remarks. Wait, could I have some water? I got a cotton mouth. But anyhow, does anybody know what this might be?
I know what it used to be.
Okay.
It was a top.
It was a top. It was a kid's top. And it's a very special top. There's not one like this anywhere in the world. It belonged to my dad. And if you notice, it has little burn holes that make it hum or sing. Well, I never could do that. I only threw it once, and I'm scared to throw it again because it might break. Well, what does this have to do with Muskogee? I live in Muskogee. I'm the only Pete Caraway that will ever exist again on this earth, just like everybody else in the audience. Muskogee, Oklahoma, is the only Muskogee that will ever be. And Muskogee right now is struggling for an identity. I got 1 minute. And that's what I want to be part of. I want to represent every special person in Muskogee, because we all want to be respected, we all deserve to be respected, and every one of us has his own dignity and should be treated that way. Nobody should be left out of the process, and the reason I'm running, I feel like people have been left out of the process. We brought up about people going to hear the State of the City message. I spoke twice on that issue before the City Council. The person who first brought it up is sitting in this room. People could not hear the City of the State message because they weren't members of the Chamber of Commerce.
Time's up.
That's not fair. And I think that should be changed. I will change it. I don't care if I stand on a hay bale or in a garbage truck. You have a right to hear what the mayor has to say, and you shouldn't have to pay to hear it.
Absolutely.
Old man Klein.
First, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight and taking interest in the inner workings of Muskogee, including all the rest of the candidates here tonight, and especially the Patriot Town Hall for putting on tonight's event. A lot of you may not know me yet, so you might be wondering what I'm doing here. My name is Joshua Matthew Caceres, and I was raised here. I'm a graduate of Muskogee High School. I still live here with my fiance, and more importantly, I'm raising my own son in this town. Real quick, a little bit more about myself. I served in the Oklahoma 45th Infantry Division after high school, attending basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia. And that is where I held my very first leadership position as a squad leader. And meeting the challenges of our training with such a diverse group of men from different walks of life in different places around the country was truly an eye-opening experience. My time in the military helped me to begin developing an opinion about the world, ultimately sparking my passion for politics. When I began pursuing a degree in public administration, I was able to secure a congressional internship at the Oklahoma State Capitol with Lieutenant Governor Todd Lamb's office, which was a very, very educational experience. I had a front row seat to the Oklahoma legislative process in action. I was fortunate enough to spend time with top policymakers and observe meetings with guests representing a myriad of political perspectives, and also to gain firsthand knowledge of the government process. During that time, the late Dr. Terry Grubbs, who is my fiance's grandfather, he helped me join the Muskogee Masonic Lodge number 28. Since then, I've joined the Muskogee Veteran Shrine, the York Rite, and I'm a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Mason. My time with the Freemasons has been extremely valuable to me. From the truly rewarding experience of participating in philanthropy to the lessons and teachings of the honorable Masonic degrees. I've come to understand God, the universe, brotherhood, and myself in this journey. And I've become ultimately enlightened, both mentally and spiritually. For the past year, I've been employed at Muskogee County Council of Youth Services, McCoy's, and working at a Tolo Boys Home and eventually becoming the recreational director for the facility. Since Atolo's closing in early December, I've been working at the Muskogee Regional Juvenile Detention Center. Since starting at the detention center, I've been utilizing my skills to help the youth benefit from the program as much as possible. Since my first day at the detention center to today, I have not missed a single day of work from Sunday to Saturday since, and that is a fact. Working at McCoy's opened my eyes to a different spectrum of young people in Muskogee. Working closely with the youth in DHS has been very fulfilling. Every day as recreational director, I work diligently to bring beneficial experiences to these youth beyond their means. I would assist in their academic and social education, and broadening their horizons. I greatly enjoy serving those in need and working to inspire these youth to strive for a better future. I am confident that developing a stronger relationship between the city and Muskogee Public Schools will provide a partnership that can more efficiently connect city administration with real families living here through the schools, and also allow for a better coordination of city resources to areas most in need in our school system. There are many reasons students fall behind. In addressing these flaws within the system to create a better quality of learning environment for our children will improve the chances of academic success for even the most at-risk youth. But we also need to focus on what these kids are doing after school. Ask any grade school kid in the area and they'll tell you there's nothing to do in Muskogee. I will work to bring more businesses targeted towards our youth to the city, to give our kids more options for affordable fun within city limits year-round. I believe this will help reduce the number of young people who may be acting out because they're simply bored. Also, this will reduce the rising rate of criminal activity in youth, as well as provide more jobs. Which brings me to my commitment to promoting economic growth for our city. Entrepreneurship can inspire innovation and spark success in a community. And it's no secret that local businesses recycle more revenue back into the local economy. Promoting local businesses better our community by stimulating economic growth within and throughout Muskogee. I'd also like to focus on the beautification of the city to ensure efficient and effective coordination in the amount spent to preserve the richness of culture at our historical sites while working towards the repair and/or modernization of dilapidated areas. For example, the city only spends $30,000 a year for the preservation of downtown Muskogee, and that is simply not getting the job done. I believe we must eliminate any wasteful spending and increase funding to preserve the rich history of downtown while simultaneously securing the future success and sustainability of the area. And the same is true for our city's leadership. We must preserve the values of this city while also evolving and changing with the times. As a sometimes reluctant member of the millennial generation, I feel that I can help to bridge the gap between the youth, young adult, and mature age groups. I hope to improve community relations by using my experience with these different age groups and with so many other diverse groups and individuals to strengthen the connection and the feeling of pride in Muskogee throughout the entire city. I will provide a stronger voice for the residential neighborhood. I've been speaking with many residents from Ward 1 recently to ensure my understanding of their hopes and concerns for their community. And what I've come to find is that many residents of Ward 1 don't pay attention to city council elections. And most of them don't even know who their city council representative is. And that is due to a disconnection between city councilors to residents. And when I'm elected, I will devote my time to make more phone calls and send more letters to ensure that everybody in Ward 1, as well as the rest of the city of Muskogee, will be educated and informed, and they will know without a shadow of a doubt that their opinions are valued, heard, and greatly appreciated.
Time's up.
I hope you join me in all expectations to ensure that the next upcoming years of Muskogee will be the best that Muskogee has yet to see. Thank you. I'm trying to get this area right here.
I can probably talk loud enough. I was an elementary principal. Done a lot of loud talking in my time. Is this on now? Can you hear it? It is on? Okay. My name is Leanne Langston, and I am the incumbent for Ward 1. And it is the purple area. It's a big one. It's basically, let's see, north of Chandler, and then east of Eastside Boulevard, pretty much. There's a whole lot of little squiggles in there too, but that's basically where it is. I want to talk first about what was on the list first, and that's downtown Muskogee. That's where my passion is. I am the executive director of Downtown Muskogee Incorporated. Have been for a few months. I love it. We've got some wonderful things going on downtown. We're moving all the time. We've got a bunch of things that are getting ready to show up that all of a sudden people are going to start noticing. Things are happening. We're getting questions constantly about what's coming up next that we can't even talk about yet. And so I'm really excited about that. My father was an architect, and he moved to Muskogee after having come here to run a couple of projects, a student union at Northeastern State University. The hospital that we have now is being built, and he was supervising that. He stayed in the old Muskogee Hotel. And one night he wandered down the street and he saw something going on at the Roxy Theater. And it was a Betty Barker dance recital. And he walked in and he loved that. He went back to Ponca City, where we lived when I was in kindergarten, and said, we're moving to Muskogee. It's a wonderful town. I love it. I love the area. And enroll the girls in Betty Barker's dance classes as soon as we get there. And that happened, and we became very close friends with the family. I've had a love for Muskogee since I came here, which was 1955. You can do the math, but I'll tell you, I'm getting ready to be 66 pretty soon, a couple of weeks. Anyhow, downtown is one of my huge passions. I've fought for it since I got on council, as most people know who've been paying attention. I'm the new chair of the Economic Development Task Force for the city. We have some great things going on right now. We've got some great new projects out around 69 and 62 Highway. We've got new buildings downtown. Not new buildings, excuse me, new businesses, and there's more coming. Just got back from a meeting looking at the Depot District down on the Elgin Street, and we've got some exciting new things that we're getting ready to unveil very, very quickly that are going on down there also. As for my experience and stuff, I have 4 things that I'm really going to be campaigning on. They are empathy, energy, enthusiasm, and experience. I have a lot of varied experiences. I've been an elementary teacher, a principal, I've worked in workforce programs. I have devoted a lot of my life to working with the underprivileged and the at-risk. The workforce programs, we had youth programs for low-income youth. We worked with dislocated workers. We put over 800 adults who were dislocated back in the mid-2000, around 2005, 6, when we had 5 major manufacturing companies shut down. That hurt our community a lot. We've rebounded, and we're doing much, much better. But that's who I like to work for. As far as communication, I'm trying to remember all of the little topics on here. As far as communicating, I give my cell phone number to anybody. I give my email address to anybody. I return phone calls. I return texts in a matter of 1 day, generally. Now, some of my friends may differ with that, but I try to, and especially if it's city business. And I go to people's homes, and I feel like a city councilor's job, a lot of it, is to be a liaison between the citizens of our community and our community government. Sometimes we have to get in there and fight and work for things. We're all here for the same reason, because we want a better community to live in. And sometimes it takes making changes and learning about a lot of different things to be able to do that. But I will tackle those problems, and I will go and talk to our city workers and stuff to help so that we can facilitate things. Let me see, what are some of the other things here? Reduction of crime, and my thoughts about supporting our law enforcement. Muskogee Police Department is really an awesome group. Their community activities that they're doing, their coffee with a cop, getting out and working with our young people in athletics, and getting to know our young people particularly on a one-on-one basis. I think that's one of the best things we can do for crime prevention. On top of that, though, I think we need to emphasize safety, and I think that lighting is huge. We need to get this town looking like we're open for business and that it's safe to be here. That's one thing that I'm really going to work on this year, and I have a lot of support for that. I've been real involved in a lot of heavy-duty budgets, too. When I was working for Workforce, had several $million-dollar contracts that were over about 20 different funding streams that all had to be kept in order, and this was over 21 county area.
1 minute.
1 minute, thank you. Campaign funding sources, I don't think anybody has mentioned that. I have financed my entire campaign personally. I have, and from friends, and that's it so far. Okay. Term limits, I think that depends. I think you guys sitting out here can do that by term limit. By voting. You can do term limits by voting. You need to pay attention. You need to know if we are doing the type of job that you want done, and then you vote us back in. If not, you vote for one of our opponents. I think it's that simple. There's a lot of things that are long-term, and it really pays to have some experience and some background knowledge. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Patrick Kale. I'm running in the Ward 1 area against Leanne. I think this has to take I think the beauty of a diverse city council is the different experiences and different education. I have my own qualifications and experiences I think would be helpful to the council. Let's start off with the first question that our host put to us. If the city of Muskogee needs downtown development and has plans to implement the plan as an elected official, what would you do to contribute to development and improvement of downtown? I'm a big proponent of Downtown Muskogee, Inc. This is our organization to improve and enhance our downtown area and to expand opportunities and events into the downtown district as well. I must say that I'm very appreciative of the work that Leanne's done as director. I can't think of a more passionate and committed person to the downtown area. Leanne asked me to sit on the Economic Restructuring Committee, and I've enjoyed taking out-of-town trips to tour other cities and to get ideas. It's been real enlightening. It's been nice to hear strategy ideas from various other committee members, and if I'm elected, I'll continue to be a big proponent of the downtown Muskogee work and encourage Leanne to continue her efforts. Let's see, our next question. What qualifies you to seek elected office? I've been in business for most of my adult life for myself. I've owned and operated a variety of businesses from retail to manufacturing. I've got a portfolio of properties that I've done in developing, many of them in Muskogee and a modest portion in the downtown area. Part of my experience, I've got extensive real estate development experience from subdivisions to large commercial facilities. I've overseen the development of over $40 million in projects. I tell you that number to give you an idea of the scope and size of some of the projects, the complexity. Projects where you work with civil engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, work with cities in putting out infrastructure, major infrastructure on major projects. I understand the need for proper infrastructure, for proper streets, proper water and sewer infrastructure, what it takes to do it right and why you want to do it right. I'm familiar with when and where to oversize or exceed normal standards and why. I've climbed out of many a ditch covered in mud from head to toe, getting down and dirty in the middle of it. I understand a profit and loss statement. I understand the balance sheet. I know when and where to cut back and why, when to save for future growth and or future projects. I understand the importance of a labor force. I currently employ 36 people. I believe I have the experience, compassion, and conviction to serve as a council member. What would you do to participate in the seeking to fill the city manager position since it is now vacant? I like to learn from my mistakes. I love to learn from other people's mistakes. I'll want to do a much better job of checking into the work history of a potential candidate. I'll look under a microscope at his or her qualifications and experience and quiz the candidate with common sense questions and scenarios. I'll personally want a candidate that is very sharp and knows how to manage, prepare, and present a city budget. I'll prefer a personality that puts trust in upper management that tends not to micromanage. We have a really capable staff at our city, and our manager needs to be secure in his or herself and let our staff do their job while the city manager focuses on the big picture, growing and improving our city, not demanding to approve every new printer cartridge request.
1 minute.
What you propose to do to reduce crime rate and support law enforcement. The major crime in Muskogee right now, the murders and the major crimes gone way down in the past 15 years. The scourge of this meth epidemic and fights at home and what have you are the biggest items. What I think in the police department, we've got a big problem losing our officers off to other cities, Bureau of Indian Affairs, what have you. I'd like to develop a plan where we make retention bonuses and recruiting bonuses with penalties if they leave early a big factor into trying to solve that problem. Thank you.
My name is Holly Rosser-Miller, and I am running to represent Ward 1, which is here in purple, for Muskogee City Council. And I'm going to take a few moments to talk to you a little bit about who I am before I address the questions put before us. I'm 39 years old. I'm married to Mike Miller, and we have a daughter. Her name is Annie. She's sitting right there on the front row. Unlike many here, I'm relatively new to Muskogee. I've only been an Okie from Muskogee for about 16 years. I grew up in Allen, Texas, which is 20 miles north of Dallas between Plano and McKinney. I graduated high school there in 1995, and then I moved to West Texas and attended Abilene Christian University. And at ACU, I earned my degree in broadcast journalism. While in school, I started working as a television news reporter and producer, and I worked at the NBC affiliate in Abilene, and that's where I met my husband. We got married 1 week after I graduated, and we lived the first year of our marriage in Florida, where we also worked at the same TV station. But on New Year's Day in the year 2000, amidst all of that Y2K madness, Mike and I decided that we wanted to move and live closer to our families. So we decided we'd both look for new jobs. And so Mike was looking in Oklahoma because he grew up here, and I, of course, was looking in Texas. And we decided that whoever gets a job first wins. Well, that wasn't much of a fair fight because he is 7 years older than me, as I like to remind him, and he had a lot more job experience. So Mike won. And he started working with the Cherokee Nation in April of 2000. We figured that I would likely end up working in Tulsa, and I did. And Mike said, well, we should live in Muskogee because it's halfway between Tahlequah and Tulsa, which we know is not quite true. So for the first 3 years, I commuted to Tulsa, and I worked at the TV Guide channel. I was an entertainment producer, which meant I got to watch TV all day long and then write about it, which was an awesome job. Well, in 2003, I finally figured out that Muskogee really isn't quite halfway, so I thought I need to get a gig closer to home. And I landed the job as the executive director at the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame in 2003. And it was when I took that job that I finally got involved really in the community, and I fell in love with Muskogee. A couple of years later, we decided to expand our family. I got my real estate license, and kind of the rest is history. For the past 11 years professionally, I worked as a real estate agent at Interstate Properties downtown. And I've also volunteered for a number of organizations and boards like, let's see, the Muskogee Tourism Board, the Hall of Fame Board, of course, Habitat, Rotary Club, the Arts Council, the Muskogee Community Band, I play the flute, the Chamber, and I even served a quarter on the Muskogee Phoenix Editorial Board. So that's just a little bit about who I am and my history. One of the questions submitted to us was regarding downtown development and the improvement of downtown. And I would like to say that when we drove through Muskogee that first time in 2000, and I remember driving down up Muskogee, like right in front of my office, I remember crying because Muskogee looked so sad and abandoned in the downtown area. And if you had told 23-year-old Holly that in 2016 she would still be living here and that she would work downtown, Holly would have cracked up. So the improvements that we've made since 2000 as an outsider moving in are breathtaking. We still have a lot of work to do, but I am really excited to see the growth and the revitalization. You can see it over in the Depot District of the Hall of Fame, the little theater going up, down Main Street, all the fun shops and places to eat, and the renovation of our beloved club lunch. So as a city councilor, I want to let you know that I will vote for projects that are in step with the vision of downtown revitalization. For every proposal that comes to me on council regarding downtown, the first question I'm going to ask is this. And that question is, do the contents and the end results of the proposal in front of me fall in line with our desired outcome for downtown? And there are certainly other questions to ask when considering, but that's the first question I'm going to ask, is does it fall in line with our desired outcome? Another question on the list was, what qualifies me to take office of city council? Well, I've already touched on my background in education and community involvement, but I will say that one of my strengths is that I get along easily with all types of personalities. You know, you don't have to agree on everything for us to work together and to get something done. And I also like to cut through the noise and get things done. We were also asked, what would you do to participate in filling the vacant city manager position? It is the duty of the city council to seek and hire a qualified professional city manager. And if that position has not been filled by the time I take office, then I will certainly actively participate in whatever that process is that's been laid out. I do have high hopes that our next city manager will be someone who brings out the very best in our council and our employees and our city volunteers, and who makes decisions with the broader vision of Muskogee in mind, and who also loves this community as much as we do, because I think that's very important. The question about campaign efforts, who's funding me? Well, I'm funding me. If you'd like to give me some money, I'll take it, but I'm not actively seeking campaign donations, but call me. Another question on the list was sent to us, and it asked, the question, I'm going to read it because it's kind of specific. What's your intention to keep in touch with constituents, especially when they provide you with materials and information pertinent to the life and welfare of our city? Well, when someone reaches out to ask a question or gives a suggestion or has an idea, I think it's really key to listen and to be accessible. My cell phone number is always available. You can find it in the paper right now next to my face in the real estate section. But that's my personal cell phone. You can call me. I'll have an email address that's just for city issues, and I'll use social media to keep in touch with folks. I understand that I will never be able to please every single person all the time because that's life. But I will listen and I will follow up with anybody who reaches out to me. The last question pertains to crime and law enforcement. Moving forward, I think it's critical that we continue to ensure that our officers have adequate training and facilities and equipment like we did in 2014, when the City Council approved the body cam purchase. And when I was looking back this week, kind of preparing for this, I was looking at the ward map, and I realized that over the last 16 years, I have lived in every ward in Muskogee. When you're a real estate agent, you buy and sell your house a lot. So I have lived in every ward. And never at any time have I felt unsafe. Now I recognize,
Time's up.
let me finish, I've got one little thing. I'm pretty self-aware, and I know that I've had a pretty charmed life. But I think the fact that I feel safe is a testimony to this community. It's a testimony to our citizenry and our law enforcement. To sum up, I just want to say that I'm running for city council because of my sweet daughter right here. I think it's important that she sees that her family and her parents are involved in public service. And I also want Muskogee to be the kind of place that when she grows up, she wants to live here, and she wants to raise her kids here and take care of me when I'm old. So whether you elect me or any of these other esteemed colleagues, I want you to know that I will always work hard to make Muskogee a better place to live. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Diana White, and I'd like to just talk to you a little bit about my life. We moved here in '96. I met my husband in Dallas, and he wanted to move back to Muskogee, so he said he's given me 18 years in Dallas, and I had to give him 18 years here. And so when we moved here, it was a really sad little town. I felt like, I'm here, what am I supposed to do? So I just got involved in doing community things. I started working as the ESL tutor translator for all of Muskogee public schools, teaching all the Hispanics English, and I soon found out I became their teacher in every subject because they couldn't do the work. And then I became an advocate for all the Hispanics throughout Muskogee, and doing all parent-teacher meetings, going to court with them, attorneys, whatever it took. And so with that, I became also a CASA worker in 2000, and just became a real advocate for children, you know, in abusive situations. And I became certified not only here in Muskogee County, but Wagner County, since there weren't very many Hispanics at that time. And so since then, I've done Good Shepherd Hospice and stayed with people until they passed on, and just different things that I've done for Muskogee, and have worked with Civitan. We helped build a handicap-accessible playground. I've gotten to travel internationally with Civitan and represented Muskogee, and Muskogee's very well known because of Civitan and other things that have happened here in Muskogee. And so I try to promote it everywhere that I go. Another program that we're with is the Getting Ahead program, the Bridges Out of Poverty program, if any of you know what that's about. And so we're helping people in Muskogee try to get out of poverty. And I do agree we do need jobs here, but a lot of the times too, it's if the place is not cleaned up and it's dirty, people do not want to bring their businesses here. So that's one thing that we're teaching in our classes. We're teaching them the wards, which I'm running for Ward 1, and Leanne is doing a great job, and the only reason I'm running against her, we're in the same ward. So that's plain and simple, and it's not that you're not doing a good job, it's just that's where I live. And so I just kept thinking, I've gotten involved with Safe and Secure, the town hall meetings. I do the popcorn, and we go in there and we just talk to them, and that's something we're doing with Reggie Cotton. And we do need more lighting in Muskogee. I think that's a huge part of why the criminal activity. We could have moved anywhere in Muskogee when we moved here, but we moved to where my husband grew up on Jefferson Street and C Street, which is the drug area. We've been dealing with a drug area down, trying to get rid of the neighbors in the corner or get the city to come down. We're constantly talking to the police department, and the problem is the lighting. It's so dark, and another thing is the sidewalks. They're all walking down the street. They won't move when you're driving through there. It's like, make me move. And so there's just a lot of things, but I've seen a lot of changes. I'm excited about Muskogee. My 18 years were up 2 years ago, so we could have moved back to Dallas or anywhere, and I told them, okay, no, Muskogee's my hometown. I'm staying. I kept teasing them saying, I'm out of jail, now I'm here because I want to be. But that's what I'm talking, but it's just that I've seen so many changes, and Muskogee has so many things to offer. And as far as for children or anyone not having anything to do, there's so many things to do. There really are, but a lot of times they're not well known. And I know even with children, I have 7 grandchildren, and they're having things going on at the Roxy, dancing, other things, and but they don't know about it till it's almost too late, and they offer scholarships. So it's not about finances, it's just somehow we have to find out how we can get the word out to everyone about what's really going on, because there are a lot of things to do in Muskogee. And that's one thing that the Chamber's always saying. Quit saying there's nothing to do, because there is. But one thing that I do know, we're doing a class. My main thing is the crime rate. And did you know that Muskogee is #1 for women incarcerated nationwide? That's pretty sad. And it's #4 for men. So we have started a new class called Getting Ahead While Getting Out. And I'm certified to do that for women, and that, whether I get elected or not, is something that I want to pursue. And it's when they come out, because if you've looked on Muskogee mugs, if you look on there, #1 is failure to pay. Failure to pay. And so through our program, we go in there and try to reduce that amount, so that then when they come out, we put them in stable housing so that they can have a fair chance. They can't get a job. If they can't get a job, they can't pay their fines, they wind right back up in the system. That's not right. And another thing, the reason I am running is because we have a large Hispanic population. And they're like, it's time for you to run. We need a Hispanic on the council, and we need to be represented. It's not like I don't have enough to do, but you know, all those things that the Lord calls us to, He'll help us do it. And so my main thing is, everything that I do it with a passion. I give it everything I've got, and I'm willing to do that for City Council. There's so many things that we can all do if we all get together. The cleanup, that was supposed to be 500. That's what, I'm on that committee, and we thought 500, that's kind of stretching it.
1 minute.
But it turned out to be great, and I'm expecting a bigger turnout in March. And we can all do our part. But if we just complain about it, nothing will get done. So we all have to do our part and quit complaining, and just, what can you do? If everybody does a little, we can turn this whole city around if we're all together. But get informed and find out what all is really going on in Muskogee, in your area. There's so much more going on than what you really know what's going on, especially at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It really is. You wake up at that time and you go somewhere and you're going to see what's going on in Muskogee, so much more than what you really know what's going on. And my thing is to become a council. If I become a council member, I will work hard with whoever else is a council member, and we'll do our best, you know, to just make changes here in Muskogee for the better of everyone. Not just a certain person, but for all of us to live together in unity. But vote for me. I'm supporting my own self. So.
Well, where do I start? Trying to kind of still distinguish. I'm 32, and my name's John Larimore. Been in Muskogee all my life. A lot of people know my name, in good ways and bad, but we all have the bad too, don't we? And that's what we need to clear up. And this man right here is very serious. I run last time, and you know, I learned a lot. You know, I'm not afraid to be defeated. And but I watch football. I watch my big OU Sooners lose to Clemson, and we get defeated sometimes, but I get back up, and that's what I'm doing tonight. Everybody in here, I've been on this campaign trail since November 1st and before. I did not really stop too much, but I thought it'd be a little weird if I was campaigning when I didn't fight. So, but I listen very well. I have selective hearing, yes, who don't, you know, that's a politician. But I'm going to get to the issues. I'm going to start off with a verse, Proverbs 11:12. A man who lacks judgment who derides his neighbor, but a man of understanding holds his tongue. If anybody knows me, I've got a big mouth, and but it's for the right reasons. Attorney, boy, I should have probably been an attorney. But here's the deal. I've talked to Robert Perkins, and he was on it longer than anybody in here. And they've been done wrong sometimes, you know, by some stuff. And I have too, but guess what? I got a chance again in February. But I'm going to get to the issues real quick. I don't want to read all the verses. But the Lord's behind this election. I've been praying ever since day one. I honestly believe that the best will win. I think I need to thank you for Town Hall supporting us tonight. And all candidates, I think they did a great job, every one of them. I talk fast to try to get done with my deal. I haven't even got on one yet. But Leanne, you have done a good job. But I got why I'm running. Okay, I'm going to state this as good as I can. Okay, there's a chance to change Muskogee again, and I'm going to read my 11 things real quick, and then I'll get to that. What I was just thinking about. That's kind of scary, but number one is infrastructure. I just jotted these a while ago before I come in. 11, because 11 is my favorite number. 2, downtown improvements. Big time. 3, better communication. All this is failures. 4, treat all people fairly. We've done a poor job of that. 5, make Muskogee great, not just good. That's been my motto from day one. We are good, but we're not great. 6, better leadership. 7, teamwork. We've got to work together better. I've been to meetings. I've been to county commissioner meetings. I've been to, seen them on TV, and went to the city meetings, and we've got to do better. And I feel like I'm the most qualified to do that. I'm a very good speaker, and love to, let me get to the issues. Number 9, better drainage systems citywide. It's terrible. I walked in puddles today. I wore these pants so you can see them. There's mud puddles on it from all the rain we got. We didn't get much this morning. It's pretty sad. 10, 2 more free dump days. If you're going to keep going up on the water and sewer, we need to do something for the citizens. They're tired of it. I've had complaints, and some people can't pay it. Some people, if you know Muskogee, there's a lot just hold on for the next bill. But anyway, we got to do free dump days and brush days, and I've done brush. We need 2 more free ones. And then be more handicap friendly. I think this town's terrible when you ask the city to put up a ramp and they can't even afford a ramp for disabled people. You know, there's a lot of people that's hurting that don't have a voice, but I'm going to the voice for them. I'm tired of this mediocrity because I'm above average. But let's get to this question real fast so I can get done. Okay, the city of Muskogee needs downtown development. They sure do. I just talked to a woman that's right by Leanne's office, and happens to be the business right beside it. And that poor woman's got to close. She don't have the money, and she couldn't even get an extension. And I think that's sad. Muskogee didn't support it. Downtown is a ghost right now. We got some good stuff going, but we got to stay and improve. I'm a guy that, you know, the mistakes I've made, I want to improve. I want to get better. And I evaluate my life every day. I start my day with a devotion and a prayer to get better. We've got to do better as people. And that's what God requires. I don't usually shake like this, my goodness. What qualifies you to seek elected office? I feel like I'm the most qualified because I've run before. And like I said, I've learned from my mistakes. And I feel like I visit the people door to door. I do not expect to win because I know you have to beat it every day, and effort does pay off. Just ask all the coaches and everybody you talk to, effort will come out usually on top. All these people are good people here, but I'm just saying I think I've outworked a lot of them. 5, any other comments? The police force, I'll be honest, Danny Spears today, what a great police officer. Wished me a happy birthday. It is my birthday, and he wished me good health and the best of the future. And that's an awesome officer. And he is a great man of God, and we've got some good ones down there. You know, you knew old Folsom. I miss old Roger, and done a lot of good things for this town, and Jimbo's right behind him. You know, son's going to take after and do well with for him. But our police force is great. And yeah, they're going to have 2 cars because everybody does. I mean, even Chicago's got 2 cars. So I mean, it ain't that hard. You just got to provide the money. We got to spend more money in this town. I mean, the money we need to spend. And we have lost 1,000 people. I figured it up on my calculator in the last year. And I had another girl my age just the other day said, "I'm leaving town if you can't clean it up and do better." And I said, "No, you're not, because I'm going to win it, and you're going to stay right here." And so there ain't nothing wrong with confidence, guys. And I just feel real good about it. The attention to keep in the constitutes, I don't have that problem at all. I talk to everybody in my ward. And the only difference with me and everybody else, I've heard all these counselors talk tonight, but Ward 4 right here, That's John Lamore's representative deal, hopefully. I think my name sounds better with counselor anyway, but when you get over here and all these others, I'm gonna represent all of Muskogee because it's about us. And the county ought to be able to vote too, by the way. I talked to Dr. Creed, and he said that's a crying shame that we didn't do nothing about that. One more thing, I gotta hurry. Number 8, we need a new mayor. Number 9, better drainage systems. And 11, like I said, more handicap friendly. And we've got to work together. I think Bob, you've done it. Not Bob, I almost said Tom. Bob, you've done a great job. I think you do a great business. I'm not going to get in people's deals, what they do. I think you've done well, but we need someone like Wayne that'll work with everybody in this place. And I'm showing no disrespect to any other candidate. But I'm telling you, we need to work together or Muskogee's going to be average. I want to be above average. Do you guys? I mean, I hope. Ira's a great friend of mine. I'll call him out. Chris James, everybody in here. I know a lot of people. And you want to question me, question me. But that's the thing. And, but I feel good about it. Nike, just do it, right? I've had that belt from day one. And I'm going to keep it trying. No, John Lamore, please vote for me February 9th.
Good evening. My name is Janie Cagle Boyston. I probably have more experience being an Okie from Muskogee than anybody in this room. I was born at 715 Elgin, which is less than a half a mile from here, and I've been here all my life. I have been an employee and an employer, so I know how that works. And I have probably been on most every committee or commission or board in Muskogee. And if I haven't, it's just because I haven't gotten to it yet. I love Muskogee. I think we're doing very well. And I'm also running for that purple spot over there. I was on the council from 2000 to 2008. And then last year, David Jones needed to retire, and they asked me to come back and fill his remaining term, which was 3 years, I thought. But then we found out that since for the last 2 years, I had to run for re-election. So I'm asking you to put me back in there for 2 more years so that I can keep on keeping on, which is what I will try to do my very best. I know how the city runs, and I'm pretty proud of what's going on right now. And I sure want to be in on the next 2 years of what I know is going to be going on. I think we're pretty lucky here, in spite of what everybody else has said about what's bad about Muskogee. There's a lot of good things. Right. We have the port. How many towns our size have a port? We have a City of Muskogee Foundation. How many towns our size have a foundation? We're doing very well, and I think we can do better. I don't have any answers to all these things because as they come up, I think we need to look at both sides or all sides and know what the circumstances are at the time and make our decision about what needs to be done to keep things going. And so I'll just give the rest of my time, and I hope you all will come and vote for me on February the 9th. I may not be there. I'm in the flower business, and I may be selling Valentine's flowers. In any event, I will find time to go vote. Thank you.
I'm Wayne Johnson, and right here is where the table shifts. We're Ward 4, so you're going to hear from a little bit different. One, what am I going to do? And I'm not going to be able to do anything. The only thing I'm going to be able to do is ask you and ask everybody in Ward 4 to allow me to go back and be part of the team. Because that's really who makes a difference here in Muskogee. It's being part of the team. One person ain't going to change Muskogee. It's being part of the team. And I've been really blessed to be part of the city council and be part of a team that's changing Muskogee. And, you know, and that's one of the things that I've heard some, really, there's some exciting things. We're at a tipping point in Muskogee. You can drive around Muskogee and I get excited. You know, when Janie was talking about the foundation, there's not, you look around, there's not a lot of communities that we are blessed to have the things we have in Muskogee. Yes, we have an aging infrastructure. Our infrastructure is 100 years old, and the city council has a lot of challenges. But we have a lot of solutions and a lot of possibilities that other communities do not have. And we have a port, we have 69, we have the turnpike, we have great possibilities. But the biggest possibility we have is great people that will come out and hear from candidates like you taking time, like you are this evening, to really be invested in your community. And that's what makes a difference. And that's what Muskogee is all about. I always refer to Muskogee as a big, small town, and I love it. I'm glad to be an Okie from Muskogee. That's what makes Muskogee great. It's not about the buildings. It's not about the roads. It's not about that. It's the people. It's the true grit of Muskogee that makes Muskogee what it's for. And that's why I'm proud to be an Okie from Muskogee. Why I think I'm good, I would be a good candidate, is I've had the opportunity of serving on the city council for 4 years. And you would think that that would be a longer period of time, but really 4 years, I feel like I'm just getting started. I've served on a lot of committees. I've had the opportunity of serving in a lot of different ways in Muskogee. And probably the most passionate ones, I've been able to serve on the Martin Luther King Committee. I've served on the airport board. One of the most passionate ones is you know, been with Bridges Out of Poverty. It makes such a difference in our community. And I feel like we got the vaccine for some of our challenges in Muskogee, but we just can't give it out fast enough in Muskogee. We've got challenges, but we've got opportunities. I have the opportunity, I've worked for 24 years for Muskogee Public Schools. I have a background with facilities, so I know electrical, plumbing, heat and air, a lot of different varieties, so I bring a lot of variety of experience. And I think that does help serve some ways with the city council and gives me some insight of the city council. But it really is the possibility of being part of a team and part of something great. Just recently, or not recently, it's been about 2 years I've been on downtown Muskogee, because that was one of the questions. And you know, you don't see parades out on 69 highway. That's a good thing. It could be a little dangerous, but you know, you don't see parades. You see them downtown. And you know, one thing that was great this year, we shut down Main Street for Halloween and a bonanza. And what an event. What a great event that started with one person with an idea and a team came together, and it was bonanza. And it was a big event, but it was downtown Muskogee. It was downtown Muskogee, and that's what it takes. And those events happen downtown. I've had the opportunity of serving on downtown Muskogee for 2 years. And now I have the blessing of being the president of downtown Muskogee. So I'm invested in downtown Muskogee. Who's financing my campaign? I would say it's me, but it's really my wife. It's me and my wife that's financing my campaign. Then there's the other question, do you think there should be term limits? Why would you want to do term limits for somebody that wants to volunteer? You know, the pay is zero. And actually, it's worse than that, because you give up time and you give up money. And I really appreciate my wife allowing me to donate my time and take time away. But why would you want to restrict somebody from giving up their time? Now, if they're not serving their community, it's real simple. You vote them out of vote them out of the office. But Muskogee is great, and Muskogee has great possibilities. And so what I would like to do is I'd like to ask for your vote to have another opportunity to serve the citizens of Muskogee. And even though I'm representing and I'm only asking for the votes because I can only get the votes from Ward 4, every time I vote, I think about all the citizens of Muskogee, because every time we make a decision, it impacts everybody in the city of Muskogee. And it actually impacts everybody that drives through 69 and everybody that comes through Muskogee. So I would like to appreciate your support February the 9th. It would be the red or purplish.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah. Cranberry. Sorry, correct.
Cranberry.
Cranberry.
Thank you, Wayne, and thanks to everybody else. I will try to make this short and sweet. I know you guys have been here for a long time. It's taken a lot of your evening. I appreciate you all for taking the time out of your dinner time to come and listen to us. And thank you, Catherine, for inviting us. My name is Lynn Wagner-Wallace, and I am also running for Ward 4, the pink cranberry red area with Wayne. And honestly, I decided last April I wanted to do this, and I decided because there were some decisions that I saw being made for downtown Muskogee that I didn't agree with. And I thought to myself, I can either complain or I can do something about it, okay? So me running has nothing to do with the fact, I don't think anyone on city council has done a bad job. I just want to be a part of it. So that's my reason for running. I was born in Muskogee. I have lived here my entire life except for 4 short years in Norman, Oklahoma when I went to the University of Oklahoma. Graduated with a broadcast journalism degree, and I came back to Muskogee. And when I was in college, I bragged about this place everywhere I went. And I told everybody I was always proud to be from Muskogee. And people were like, Muskogee? What? I'm like, you just hear about things on the news. You don't know what happens here. It's exciting. The people are amazing. There's lots of good things happening. But you know what? We don't give ourselves enough credit. We don't. We don't. More negative news comes from this town from people who have been born here, raised here, live here. Why do we do that? That's ridiculous. We're in a great place. And Wayne touched on so many great things happening in Muskogee. We need to do a better job of marketing ourselves, okay? I graduated from Muskogee High School in 1994. I did choose to make Muskogee my lifelong home. I have no desire to leave Muskogee, raising my 3 children here with my husband. When I came back from college, I didn't go into broadcast journalism. I went into banking because it's what I knew. I worked in banking since I was 17 years old here in Muskogee, and I had a 20-year banking career, 20-year-long banking career here in Muskogee, which, I mean, I started when I was about 5. So I am actually 39 years old, and I took a huge leap of faith 2 years ago. I was working in a very comfortable bank job, you know, going in, I could do the job in my sleep, but I was looking for a challenge. And so my husband was super supportive of me, and I decided to completely change my life up, and I took a job with Edward Jones as a financial advisor, and I spent the next 3 months studying for these very, very difficult exams, and took a huge cut in pay because it was something I wanted to do. It was a dream I had, and I had the opportunity and the support to do it. So I now work for Edward Jones as a financial advisor, and I love it. And when they asked me where I wanted to actually have my office, where do you want to locate your office? Downtown Muskogee was the first and only response. They wanted me to look at 69, they wanted me to look somewhere on York Street, but I have such a passion for downtown and what it can be, what it has been, so that's where I am. And I'm very, very excited about it. Gosh, I've got 3 kids. They're 12, 10, and 11 months, almost 1 year. And I want them to grow up here. I want them to love Muskogee. We are very proud to be raising Okies from Muskogee. They are, my daughter is very, very proud to be from here. That's what I want to continue doing. And that's what I will do on City Council. I have passion. I have enthusiasm, I have energy. I'm serving right now on the boards of both Kids Space and Muskogee Education Foundation. I really love both of those boards. And I've also been in the past on the Chamber of Commerce committees, McCoy Service League. But one of the groups I just recently learned about in the last year that I have truly kind of taken on as my own, and Wayne mentioned it too, was Bridgers Out of Poverty. That is one that has come to my attention in the last year. I really had no idea the scope of that group and what they're doing in our community. And I volunteered a little bit of my time to them. I want to volunteer a lot more time to them. But some of the graduates of Bridges Out of Poverty are coming into my office, and we're helping set budgets. And we're helping to learn about how you manage your finances. And that's been so rewarding to me. I've not made a dime on it, and that's okay with me. But people need resources and access to resources. And if I can be one of those resources for them, I'm all for it. So that is a big passion for me as well. I hope to do more with them this year. Gosh, from all of my community involvement and just work with different boards, I've learned how to collaborate with people, work well with people, how to budget, how to put together policies, become a good listener. And I sometimes think I'm a counselor. I feel like I'm a counselor in my office when people come in and tell me their life story. So I'm a good listener. And I am a problem solver.
1 minute.
Okay. I just want to do this because I care about Muskogee, I care about my family, I care about the citizens here. And I want tax dollars spent carefully and wisely, so I'll keep an eye on that. I am open to anyone at any time coming to visit me at the office, calling me, emailing me. I am always available. Most of all, I just want us to keep our quality, the unique qualities that we have. I want us to keep this sense of community. And I want it to be a cohesive city council that works well together and we actually move forward. So, gosh, the only thing I can say is I just humbly ask for your vote on February 9th. Thank you.
Hasn't this been great? And Mayor Coburn, my hat's off to you. I don't have a hat on, and you don't either, but anyway. Thank you so much, every one of you, for taking time to come out. Now, we turn to the audience and have 3 questions from the audience, and I hope 33 people don't raise their hands. We've only got 5 minutes for an answer so that we make it 8:30 on time. Who would want to ask? Ma'am, will you stand and speak, please?
The question I'd like to ask all the candidates, or whoever is brave enough to answer, is their opinion about privatization, and if they've been watching what's been going on around the country. Thank you.
You'll have to select somebody.
Then it would be the candidate that's running for mayor, not Mayor Coburn, but I don't know your last name.
Wayne.
Wayne Dalglish, yeah.
Thank you.
I really don't know a lot about that topic, so I would probably not be a politician and go both ways on it, so I really don't have an answer for that.
Second question, stand and say who you are.
Oh, I'm Cedric Johnson. Most of you know I always have a big mouth. But I want to ask the candidates for mayor, do you have any plans for a TIF program in your economic development scheme?
Starting with me?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, there is, but I, at the same time, want to caution our community. What TIF does is take the incremental sales tax over and above what is existing in the market, and it allows you to use that money to finance other projects or infrastructure or whatever. But what you do is you give up the opportunity then for the sales tax to be generated for sometimes 10 and 15 years for that to happen. So I think TIFs are a good idea to get things started. I don't know that we need too many TIFs because we can really cripple our budget income-wise in years ahead.
I guess I have to agree with that.
Is there a third? Okay.
Young lady, if you were given one project only one to do in the city of Muskogee, what would be your first and major priority?
Economic development, jobs.
Perfect answer.
We actually could take, I guess, a couple more because these answers are brief. And let's hear another one. Another question?
I have a question about the city manager. I've been here since '99, and since '99, when I remember right, there's been 3 city managers. What are we going to have to do to be able to retain a city manager? And have you considered maybe somebody locally that has a dog in the fight? I think we look to the outside, and we wind up with somebody that really doesn't have the heart in the city.
Selection of candidate.
I'll speak on it.
John, stand up.
I'll speak on it. All right. Here's my thing on that. Okay. Now I'm going to say this is all nice. And I'm an honest man, I'd like to think. But you know, the city manager deal, I've talked to the Tulsa ones and VA. And I like to hear other people's towns too, what they think, and you follow, and Buckland, what you follow. But here's the deal. Every one of them we've had, I'm not going to put someone down what I haven't done, but I watch them too. Why do we, mayor and council, select the worst candidate out of all the interviews? Well, I mean, if you have a job, I mean, I've had several good jobs. We could stay all night and listen to them, but what I'm saying is when you go and interview, they need to pick the best that they want at that time. And we hadn't had any, 0-3. And really, I mean, Buckley wasn't, he about ruined the town before he come here. And where's the homework in this? I think Scott Robinson from the port would be the perfect guy. He knows more than anyone. And really, I've done my homework. And we need someone local. Quit going to Florida and Texas. Let's get someone that knows Muskogee people. I am a real Okie too. And yes, I had to speak on that, Alan. That's a shame. We've had to live in that. Really, we don't even need one if we got the mayor and council, but I know Muskogee's always had one, and we can still get a good one. And make Muskogee a great city, like I've spoke about from day one. But like I said, I don't like it either, and that's why I'm running again. We have got to do our homework and quit getting the worst person out of the top 3. I mean, I like the last one. We have a good relationship. I ate some cake. I ate his cake where they at. And but here's the deal. Howard did a good job, and he will probably get by tonight. But anyway, we'll do better, and we can get better people because people want it. Obviously, they want to be the city manager. It's good pay. Thank you.
No need to watch Jimmy Fallon for that.
I just had some thoughts on that matter. Where our city charter is designed, there's a natural conflict between the mayor, I don't want to say conflict, let's just say tension, between the mayor, which is the political leader of the town, and the city manager who runs the city. Now, just because the mayor has one idea and the city manager has another is not important until they can't resolve their differences or present it before the city council. Now, each one has a different agenda. One, like I said, runs the city, the mayor doesn't. City council issues structures to the city manager. Unless those 2 individuals, along with the city council, have to work as a team. And when they don't, we're in trouble. It's not good enough if you have a disagreement to go into executive council and let's say, let's get rid of somebody. You can't hit your butt with a baseball bat in 2 years, and everybody in this room knows it. It takes time. It takes a little effort to get to know people. Found out today we have a professional negotiator to our unions. Then the professional negotiator provides information to the city manager. I don't think that's correct, the way to do it. We have a city manager, we have personnel, we have it all, and you mean we can't negotiate our way with the unions? We need to hire somebody at $86,000 a year? No. The city manager needs to know the employees and what's on their mind, and you're not going to get that feedback from an outsider consultant. $86,000. That's a lot of money. For what? If the information is filtered between the negotiator and the city manager filters that information, and some of the information doesn't get presented to the city council, how in the world can you make a decision? You don't know what's going on. We have the resources, and if our people can't do their job, then we need to find somebody who can. It's that simple and it's that difficult. If nobody knows what's in the city budget, we have a problem. And every time you look at that film, the question comes up, is this in the budget? Or city manager, is this in the budget? Everybody's head swings over to the city manager, and he says, of course it's in the budget. Why wouldn't he? He presented the idea. The council has to know what's in the city budget. The new members coming on the council have to know what's in the old budget, and they should know what they want to put in the new budget. In other words, that's one of the most important documents because it is a roadmap for 6 months ahead, 1 year ahead. And if you don't know what your finances are, you ain't going to buy a ticket to go anywhere. So with a new prospect of a city manager, we want a city manager who's going someplace, not coming from. We want somebody that can lead, and we don't want somebody that, well, he got kicked out of this place and now he's looking for a home so he can retire. You need a go-getter. You need somebody who can listen. You need somebody who can negotiate. And you need somebody who knows when to compromise and when not to compromise. And the compromise that aren't made, the only solution is to get it before the city council without firing him for the resolution. That is the way the city council and the charter reads. And I think the tension between the mayor and the city manager is designed just to be that. Let's get the problem on the table and let's see if we can come to some type of agreement. It doesn't have to be World War III time. Every time somebody disagrees.
Time's up there.
Thank you.
I'd like to give that question back over to the mayor and have his response, please.
Will you stand and ask your
My name is
question?
Jim Winter. I'd like to have that answer come from the mayor in regards to the question that you just had explained to us.
I'll be happy to answer the question. According to our city council, our city charter, the mayor has one responsibility. That's basically a ceremonial activity that has nothing to do with the operation of the city. We hire the city manager to run the city. You have a number of people there involved, 8 city councilmen and a mayor, and we don't always agree on everything. And so to say that that basically we need to throw everybody out and start over, I think would probably be a pretty drastic act. It wouldn't be necessary. We can certainly employ a city manager, and that can be done through a very simple process, and it's very well defined in our charter how we do that.
You are dismissed. Thank you.